Hello, welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you, as always, for your tweets. Old school reunion today. Ali Moreno and Stevie Nicol. Stevie, before we get to the tweets, there's been a lot of people getting in touch with me to ask about your DVD collection. The first thing is that behind you, I think over your right shoulder, have you got two DVDs exactly the same?
It's a bit like shepherd's pie, isn't it? You know, once you have one and you enjoy it, then you have another one. So I thought I'd do the same. Really enjoyed the DVD, so I thought I'd get another one. Yeah, don't be stupid. It's obviously a series. And there are a few doubles and trebles, actually. I think the one behind the Liverpool's Casualty, which is my wife's, which is like a couple of series, and my own, probably down the bottom there, you can't see, Still Game, a Scottish programme. It's the same, so that's why there are multiple DVDs that look the same, Daniel.
Is your wife that excited about Casualty? I didn't even know they produced DVDs. This is a programme in the UK, about an ER department.
Are you sure?
I didn't know anyone was so passionate about it.
VCR tape.
Well, hold on a second. We came to this great country 20 years ago when you couldn't get Netflix and all that nonsense. It was all DVDs and whatever, and we didn't have an iPad that we could get on and watch programs that we can now. So she sent away for DVDs. So that's why she's got DVDs of Casualty, which is a programme she liked before we left the UK. Make sense?
What are the VHSs in the top corner?
Uh-huh.
I've actually got no idea. In fact, I don't think I've even looked at them for about 15 years. I probably never looked at them when I brought them from the other house to this house.
And who's in the wedding picture, Steve? I was trying to work that out behind you.
Oh, that's my niece. That's my wife's brother's daughter. That's in Greece. They were in Greece.
Did you go?
Unfortunately, I was working with the New England Revolution at the time, so I couldn't go. So Eleanor went with the kids. So Lindsay and Alan probably were lucky that I didn't go. Spoil everything.
Right, let's get on with this. Stevie, how much shepherd's pie have you had over the course of this quarantine?
Do you know what? I actually haven't had a shepherd's pie.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Not what you would call it. See, look, for those that don't know, a shepherd's pie officially is potatoes, mince, carrots, onions and cheese. And I can honestly say I haven't actually had that combo. I've had mince every day, but I've had mince peas and turnip, mince peas and cauli, mince peas, broccoli, mince peas, broccoli, green beans. I've had all kinds of combinations with mince and veggies. I just haven't had the actual shepherd's pie as it should be.
You know, Dan, I know for certain the one thing that he has not had, and that is corn, because as we know, he hates corn with shepherd's pie. That's a no-no. Yep. That's what we've learned that from the past.
Very much so.
Complete no-no.
Right.
Complete no-no.
Let's talk some soccer, shall we? Ali, who would you pick in a two-man midfield between Xavi, Iniesta, Lampard, Gerrard, Scholes or Pirlo?
Xavi and Iniesta. If we're going to argue that 2011 team for Barcelona may have been the best team ever in the history of ever in terms of club competition, then part of that reason for them being as good as they were was because Xavi and Iniesta were running that midfield. Now, some of the other names that you have there in that list actually played together. So we know that the Lampard-Gerrard thing didn't quite work for England, so they're not part of my group. And so if it is about choosing two players that played really well together, it would have to be Xavi and Iniesta.
This is not quite straightforward. I can't disagree with what Ali says, but Ali has to remember that they had Busquets who sat behind them, the two of them. So that's basically a three midfield. There's a world of difference between having a three and having a two. You know, playing a 4-4-2 to a 4-3-3. So if you're playing with a 3, then I would have to agree with Ali, and you'd have somebody sitting behind him. But if you're having a 2, then I would have to say you have to play Gerrard and Iniesta instead of Xavi, because with a 2,
there it is. There's Gerrard. I was wondering how we were going to get
far
there.
more defending. Well, the question I was asked included Gerrard and the choices I had. So, what do you want me to do?
Hey, all of a sudden he went into tactical breakdown. Are we playing with 2-man midfield? Are we playing with 3-man midfield? The question was what 2 midfielders you would have playing together. I'm gonna say again, Xavi and Iniesta.
Well, if you played the 2 of them together
Stevie.
in a 4-4-2, then you'd have trouble defending. That's all I'm saying. If you're playing with 3, absolute different ball game.
Who was the better player, Ian Rush or Kenny Dalglish?
Oh, thanks very much. What a question that is.
Controversy.
Wow. Listen, you're talking about 2 of the best ever. I mean, listen, he's King Kenny for a reason, and so I guess King Kenny shades it. But I'll tell you what, I mean, you talk about a goal scorer, and you talk about a guy who, you know, the old days it was called defending from the front, and you, you know, if you were playing against him, he would almost lie down, put a blanket over his head, and put his head on a pillow to make you think that he actually wasn't caring and wasn't interested, and then from nowhere he would pounce on you. But King Kenny's called King Kenny for a reason, so I've got to go with King Kenny.
Yesterday, someone published the front page of Shoot magazine, a soccer magazine that everyone read pretty much when they were growing up, going back to 1989. And it was April 1st, and they pulled off one of the greatest April Fool's Day prank in that they had Ian Rush in an Everton shirt on the front page saying he was going to Everton. I remember this just being the talk of the school. Everyone was going on about it. Steve, do you remember this?
I actually don't. I saw it the other day, and when I saw it, I was like, Rushy, wait, I never understood one. No, I'd absolutely no idea.
They got Stevie with an April Fool's joke 30 years down the road.
Well, it looks like it. I'm going, I don't remember that. What was this?
Ali, when representing your country, what was your favourite game you played in and why?
Oh, man. Copa America 2011, great memories there, but if it is an individual game, I would have to say beating Argentina in World Cup qualifiers in Venezuela when Argentina had all their toys out on the field, and it's Agüero and it's Messi and all the superstars were there, and it was a historic moment for us, for La Vino Tinto, for our national team. Yes, beating the mighty Messi and mighty Argentina in a World Cup qualifier in a game that meant so much. At home, 1-0. That was a wonderful experience.
Stevie?
Has to be my debut at Hampden Park, a place where I used to go and stand on the terrace when I was younger to watch Scotland playing, and then to be standing on the field, knowing what people were thinking, standing on the terraces where I used to stand, because I could remember everything I was thinking about. And of course, I mean, we won the game. We played against a team in Yugoslavia who were one of the best teams in Europe. If you think of all the teams today that, you know, they were all put together, your Croatias, your Serbias, your Montenegros, all these teams used to play. All the best players played together at that time, and they were called Yugoslavia. They were a great side, and to beat them on my debut. But the overriding thing was before the game, standing on the field, 80,000 Scots there, and the 100 pipers and drums playing Scotland the Brave. Absolutely frightening.
The experience of the national anthem, your own national anthem, in your home stadium, as you're standing there and you're thinking about all the things that it took to get to that point, there's no feeling like that. And no contract guarantees that. You earn that yourself with the quality of play. And to be able to make it to that point, it's very significant for any professional.
I can tell you one thing, Dan. Now, they don't play Scotland the Brave anymore. They play Flower of Scotland. All of a sudden, all this new wave nonsense, well, we need to sing. So they used to sing Flower of Scotland all the way through the games anyway back in the day, and they still do it. But Scotland the Brave, it was a one-time, before the game, it was our national anthem, and I feel bad for Scotland players today and previous Scotland players that didn't get the chance to stand in front of 100 bagpipers and drums. Absolutely spine-tingling, and unfortunately they've missed out on that.
Meanwhile, what's a fair goal for the US men's national team in the next World Cup, Ali?
Well, the first thing you got to do is make it to the World Cup. And once you achieve that, then you can start talking about bigger goals. And this is part of the issue with the U.S. national team, is that you start talking about what your goals should be for the World Cup, and you lose sight of the fact that right now, as we speak, is a team that is still trying to find a whole lot of answers to a whole lot of questions. And so if I'm them, I'm thinking about, okay, how do we get better from here on to the point until we start qualifying? And once we get to that point, how do we improve and generate some momentum so that we make sure that we're in the World Cup? And once we make the World Cup, then we can start thinking about what is realistic or what is it that our goal should be while you're in the World Cup. Until then, focus on improving individually and as a group, and make sure you're in the dance before you start talking about who you're going to dance with.
Next tweet is from Dan the Orange Man. Ali, were you better than Josef Martinez is?
What was the question? I'm sorry?
Are you better than Josef Martinez?
No, I am not. 100% no. And I've told this story many times. When I first saw Josef come into the national team camp, and I was an older statesman, if you will, in the national team, I saw this kid running around and running circles around our defenders, and I said, yeah, he's got things that I don't have. It's about that time, people. I'll see you guys later. All the best. Good luck. Take care, everybody. I'll be rooting for you. I knew that the end was near once Josef Martinez showed up at national team camp.
Hold on, he's being modest. He's being modest. There's no way that Martinez is better at diving than you. You're a far better diver than him. And he will ever be. Skill. So give yourself a little pat on the back for that one.
Nobody draws fouls like me, Dan. Nobody draws fouls like me.
Final question, and it's a golf one. Who has the lowest golf handicap out of you bunch? Well, I'll say Craig is probably the lowest, then Stevie, then Ali, then Shaka, and then myself.
I think you've actually got one wrong. I would say Adrian has a better handicap than Shaka. So I think you probably got your order right, but Adrian definitely ahead of Shaka. Yeah.
And how are you psychologically at the moment, Steve? I hear there were some mental issues. Yeah.
I've got mental issues every day.
Yes. Yesterday, Stevie Nicol was outstanding with his long irons. I can tell you that much. The man started playing, and the first couple of holes, he was birdie, and you thought, uh-oh, we're up to something here. He was special yesterday with the long irons. Against the wind, he was hitting knockdown shots. It was fantastic to see.
I got a feeling there isn't a happy end to this story.
Well, I did. Ali's right. I went birdie, double bogey. But then I pulled the reins back in, got it together, and I was as solid as a rock after that. But yeah, the third hole killed me.
Beautiful. Oh. All right, good stuff. People get bored when we talk too much about golf. Thank you very much then, everyone. ESPN FC is back on your screens tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow we will be back with you. Be sure to join us.